a girl a-running in a group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look at Buddy, hot rod at large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod. She's my hot rod.
AM 1420 WIMS, Talk of the South Shore. You know him, you love him. He's legendary. It's Big George the Carguy. What's up?
What's going on, Rick?
You are Big George.
Oh,
Woo!
let me tell you, tomorrow's show is unbelievable. Just when you thought everything was going down and getting smooth, it's crazy again. You know, I've been telling people for like 5 years these Takata airbags are killers and they're in your car. Well, I never got a notice, so I must not have those airbags. Now all of a sudden, the car manufacturer, Ford started it off. Ford led off the inning with 640,000 recalls going back to 2005 on Takata airbags. And the rest of the manufacturers, 13 of them, followed suit with another 860,000.
So what's going to happen with that?
Well, they're going to have to fix them, but what people don't realize is that these deadly airbags have been in their car all this time. They're potential killers. Not every one of them is no good, but one out of like 25 or one out of 300 is bad. You want to take a chance that you're driving that one? You know, it's crazy.
Well, let me ask you, these airbags too, can't they, Big George the Carguy, Saturday mornings here at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock Eastern, simulcasting on our brother station, WHFB. Can these blow up in your face? Because I've seen like reports where they actually show the dummies, but they said it could snap your neck and allegedly, of course, on all this, but it could hurt you, correct?
These Takata airbags, they actually turn into a grenade.
What?
They're like they throw shrapnel all through the cockpit of the car. People are dying from the airbag, not the wreck. There's a couple of instances where two women in Florida, one was driving, one was a passenger. They got paralyzed from the neck down in a fender bender.
Wow.
Oh, it's crazy. But everybody said, well, I never got a notice, so I probably don't have Ford just went back to like 2005, and some of the other manufacturers go back as far as 2003. So there's a zillion of these cars on the road, and all of a sudden they're scared. The manufacturers are, and they're covering their butts is what they're doing, because they're afraid of getting sued because Takata airbags got no more money to get sued for.
Wow.
They're broke.
Well,
it's unbelievable. We're going to cover this whole thing tomorrow. T-Rex and I have been working night and day on this story. Oh my goodness! And everybody's driving one. Everybody, I'm driving one, you're driving one, Nick's driving one. Everybody's driving one of these killer cars.
what do we do?
Well, the only thing, I'll tell you what I did with mine, but it's against the law, so I'm not going to tell you what I did with mine, but it's against the law to disconnect those airbags.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Okay, but what do you do? I mean, these things are potential killers. They're so bad that they will go off in hot, humid weather without any kind of reason. The hot, humid weather can blow these things up in your face. They've had them go off in storage. They've had them go off in transit in a semi coming across the Texas-Mexico border. It was so hot and humid they started blowing up inside the semi, and they injured a woman on the side of the road that was walking down the street.
That is crazy.
This is just terrible.
All right.
The car manufacturers they got to do something. They got to find a way to get these things out of there temporarily, because you don't know which ones are. You're throwing the dice, Rick. You don't know which ones are dangerous and which ones aren't.
All right, so I got to throw this out there. So we've got that. People could call in and ask you questions, correct?
Oh, yeah, tomorrow just call 928 Car Guys.
Okay.
We'll help you with anything you need to know. The only thing I won't tell you is how to disconnect them, because that's against the law.
All right, what if someone had a question like right now and they wanted to ask you right now on the radio? Would you answer a question right now if someone called in?
Absolutely, anything.
Right.
I'm a car guy, Rick. That's what I do.
Okay, so here's what I want to do. Big George the Carguy, 219-861-1632. And I could, connect everybody all as one. 928 Car Guys tomorrow. And what I want you to do is ask the question and then just hang up and listen for the answer.
Hi, I have a four-wheel drive, and I was wondering if, is it easier to drive in the wintertime with a four-wheel drive car? Can you drive a little different, or is it kind of like, can you drive like everybody else does, or can you do something different? Can you drive a little faster, or is it easier to steam year, or does it matter? And just curious. Thanks.
What do you say?
Oh, obviously, you have more control in a four-wheel drive. You have better traction in a four-wheel drive. But you have to remember, everybody else on the road doesn't have that four-wheel drive. So you can't go pushing them down the street. You got to go with the flow. You got to go with the traffic. You got to behave yourself. You're going to have, in any situation, your four-wheel drive is going to handle much better in bad weather. Wet weather, snowy weather, icy weather, it's all going to be relative. But, well, now icy weather, nobody can stop good in icy weather. I don't care what you're driving. The stopping is a bad thing in icy weather. But you have to go with the flow and not try to push the rest of the traffic down the street. That just because you can. The four-wheel drive is a much safer vehicle. I know you yourself, Rick. You drive one, and you're much safer.
I agree. And the one thing I have to say, thanks for the call, by the way, 219-861-1632. Big George, Carguy on the air, Ric Federighi, WIMS. The one thing that I literally, in all the years I've driven between my home in the suburbs of Chicago and Chicago, when I was doing for decades, and here at the radio station now well over a decade, so 30 plus years, I literally turned around about a week or so ago when we had that ice wicked storm. It was so bad. I was about 20 minutes into my ride, and I've never been so scared because I just couldn't control the car. And I'm like, I'm not driving. This is crazy.
No, it doesn't matter. You got four-wheel drive. Even if you've got studded tires, which are illegal as all get out now, you can't have them. Nobody stops good in ice. Ice has to be dealt with. You're better off just waiting for the ice to go away or get salted or something, because ice you can't do it.
I'm so with you.
Hi, I had a question. Growing up with cars, I was always taught that you need to let a car warm up when it's really, really cold, where it's winter and the car's sitting outside. When you start the car, you have to let it warm up before you start driving. My husband said that the cars nowadays are so sophisticated and they're so much better that you don't need to do that anymore. And I'm telling him he's wrong. So I leave it up to you. Who's right? Do you need to warm up your car in the winter or not?
Oh, boy, you're going to get me in the middle of this one, aren't you? Here's the deal. You got to let them warm up a little bit. Now, he's right in one respect. They're much more sophisticated now. They don't have a carburetor and a choke or any of that anymore. It's all fuel injected, and it's very precise. And it'll stay running, and it'll be fine. But the other question is, do you like sliding into a cold leather seat? I mean, come on. You want to warm it up a little bit. Besides that, you want to get all those fluids moving and get everything going. A few minutes, it's not like it used to be. You don't have to warm it up for a half an hour like the old days. But nowadays, everything's so sophisticated. 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a max. It's fine. You can start driving.
So are you excited about the show tomorrow, my friend?
Oh, man, am I excited about this one. I got one more call to make. I'm trying to get a hold of somebody from Takata, and they won't take my calls. So we'll find out what happens. I've been jumping up and down here. They're throwing these guys in jail, Rick.
I know. And
these executives from this foreign. Same way with VW, Volkswagen.
Wow, that's a whole other cluster.
Oh, that's a whole other ball game, and I got a report on that tomorrow. There's guys going to jail because they were part of the Stinky Gate, what I call Stinky Gate.
Stinky Gate. I'm liking it. By the way, folks, if you do have questions, 928 Car Guys, you could stream it, WIMSradio.com, WHFBradio.com, free tune-in radio app. You, of course, got both radio stations. George, we got our, our Facebook Live, and we've got our Big George websites as well. So we are, covered all over the world, basically.
The world. I'm telling you, I'm getting calls. I'm getting texts and emails from friends all over that like to listen to this show, and it's so much nicer now. I mean, you guys have set this up. You the professionals at WIMS are, without question, the best I've ever met. You got people there, Rick, and yourself included, that just know how this game works, and it's really coming out just perfect.
Well,
couldn't be any better.
You are awesome to work with. We love having you aboard. We're honored to have you here, and I want this thing to get bigger and better. And it's cute. Yesterday, I was up with Nick at WHFB territory. We were with some clients and bonding, and actually the gentleman that we were speaking with, who's going to jump aboard and do some stuff with us, actually commented on your show and said, I absolutely love it. And I said, well, call in. Be a part of it. He goes,
anytime. Yeah, sure. T-Rex takes all the calls. He spins the dials here. He's like a madman on Saturday morning. He's got arms going all over the place.
Good. Keeps him young. I like that. All right. Well, thank you, Big George, for your time this morning, and we will chat with you again. Have a great show tomorrow, folks. Don't forget, Saturdays here on the morning, right after Burning Issues 8 to 10. Then, of course, Big George, 10 to 11 on WIMS. Same exact time, simulcasting, 11 to noon in the Eastern time zone on WHFB AM 1060. Thanks, George.
10-4, Rick. Thanks a lot.
Woo! See ya.
Bye. Yeah.
AM 1420 WIMS, Michigan City, a Girard Media Company, streaming live at WIMSradio.com.